Well, so we got Dr. Ben here, and of course, Sam is a big fan of martial arts. Ben is a professor of history, so I decided today was the day we finally covered a person that I've been wanting to cover for a long time, and we're going to combine the two right now. What do y'all know about Count Dante?
Count Dante. Nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say nothing.
This is the origin of what they refer to when they talk about Steven Seagal and the concept of bullshitto, the art of being a karate guy who is fake up and down.
All right.
Boy, this I think I found patient zero. This is one of my...
And as a fan of martial arts, I hate to shut this down because it is a decent narrative. But Steven Seagal used to be a badass. We can look up clips of a UFC fighter who's actually using a technique Steven Seagal taught him in championship level octagon fights.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
Anderson Silva was taught a front kick by Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
And he used it to finish multiple opponents.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's what I would say about almost all of these guys. And we're going to end up, there's one reference in here to, speaking of people getting up in our comments, Frank Dukes, who is the guy that Bloodsport is based on. Yeah. So
I loved that movie when I was a kid.
Yeah. Well, so I did a thing pretty early on in the podcast around 2015 where I just got interested in him and I was like, oh my God, this guy is so full of shit. I love it. And did kind of a little essay audio piece just by myself on the show, posted it as a YouTube clip. It is our most viewed clip by a lot. It's got, I think, over like 200,000 views or something like that. And so many comments, and up in the comments, fighting everybody, is the man himself, Frank Dukes. So Frank Dukes don't like us at all, speaking of people who are against us. But I would say the same for him, and I would say the same for this guy, and that is that a lot of these people are legitimate. It's just once they kind of get their first plaudits, their head gets way bigger and they get over their skis, and then it becomes like, oh, I can't sustain the level of bullshit that I'm putting out anymore.
Steven Seagal's whole body got way bigger. Not just his head.
Yeah, that's right.
I've seen him lately hanging out with
Actually, his head kind of stayed the same. It was the body that was the issue. Yeah, but Steven Seagal started off, the whole reason he got into show business is that he was the trainer for the head of CAA back in the day. And he was like, I can make anybody a star. I can make this guy a fucking star. And
Wow.
that's literally how he got into showbiz.
I want to bet.
Yeah, straight up.
That's incredible. I bet you couldn't do it with me, though.
Right. So the man who would come to be known as Count Dante was born John Timothy Keehan in Beverly on the southwest side of Chicago on February 2nd, 1939. His parents were rich and of Irish heritage. His father, Jack, was a doctor and the director of Ashland State Bank. His mother, Dorothy, was a socialite, occasionally appearing in the society pages of the Chicago Tribune. So he comes from rich Irish people.
Normally when someone's born in 39, you're like, ooh, that's hard times into the Depression. You're like, what's this guy's like struggle story going to be? And you're like, he didn't even notice.
Yeah. Oh, no,
They were doing great.
Yeah, by the time he was conscious, the war was over. He was doing all right. So according to Keehan, one night someone broke into the family's house, and John, a teen at the time, confronted the intruder. But instead of stopping him, he got beaten up.
Oh.
And at that point, Keehan's dad decided his son needed to be able to defend himself, and he signed him up for boxing lessons with Johnny Coulon, who was an Irish-American boxer who ran a gym in Chicago's Woodlawn neighborhood.
Wait, I want to stop. How old was he when this happened?
He was a teenager.
He was a teenager. I was just making sure he wasn't 7. He got beat up by a burglar. His dad's like, my boy is not tough enough.
Yeah. Well, and again, that's according to him that this happened.
And now you're in question of every single thing he ever says now.
100%. So because he spent so much time in places like Coulon's gym, Keehan ran in more diverse circles than most kids in his neighborhood, which was majority white at the time. So after graduating high school in 1958, he joined the Marine Reserves and later the Army. And while stationed in California with the Army, he became obsessed with martial arts. He read books about martial arts techniques and started training in the hand-to-hand combat skills of Kung Fu and Jiu-Jitsu. So that's where he starts, is out here. There was a lot of references to him potentially going to Asia that I could not confirm at any point, but he is going to claim a trip there in just a moment.
Yeah, he was in that sweet spot, right? After the Korean War, but not before Vietnam. Yeah, that's pretty good. This guy's born at the cut, like just between everything. Exactly. Depression was over, like when he was...
Perfect timing. 1939, man, yeah, that's a perfect time to be born.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Depends on who you are. If your dad owns a bank, it's usually a pretty good time to be born.
If your dad owns a bank, any time's a good time to be born. But yeah, especially 39. Keehan also seemed hell-bent on getting out of the Army almost as soon as he was in it. According to his friend Tommy Gregory, Keehan stole cars, he made false reports to police, and even went AWOL for a while to get tossed out. And he finally got his wish in 1960. He was kicked out of the Army.
That's his wish.
Yeah,
He's getting everything he wants.
Yeah, really, what doesn't he have? Dad owns a bank, kicked out of the Army.
So now he was able to devote himself full-time to martial arts. And this is when Keehan met and began training with Robert Trias. So Trias was an Arizona highway patrolman who had studied karate while stationed in the Pacific during World War II. He is credited as being one of the first known American black belts and as the first person to open a public karate school in the mainland of the U.S.
Wow.
So that whole kind of, what you think of as a strip mall dojo, a karate guy, the fist foot way.
Fist way.
This is patient zero for that.
Oh, nice.
So he's like the first white guy to teach karate to the masses.
Shout out to Allison's Karate Academy in Concord, North Carolina.
Did you take karate as a kid?
I did, but not there.
Okay.
But that's the actual dojo in my hometown. That's the one that they're making fun of in Foot Fist Way.
Oh, no shit.
Wow.
Yeah, the guy awarded himself a black belt and drove around in a Corvette. It was incredible.
Dude, it's fucking crazy because this is like a stereotype, and it's like the stereotype has to start somewhere. Boom, right here.
Shout out to Jody Hill for proving to everybody that the things in our town were just as funny to everybody else as they were to us.
Yeah, because there's always some asshole that calls himself like Shidoshi Chad. And you're just like, oh my God, just some fucking idiot that's like, these hands are registered as deadly weapons. Like,
yeah, no, it's amazing. Used to
Okay.
break boards in Concord. Anyway.
Fuck yes. Oh, I love it.
If you're a person who likes seeing videos of people getting their comeuppance, there's lots of videos online of these fake karate masters being either tested in combat or just being confronted and having them severely back down online.
Yeah, by the way,
it's a whole genre of video if you want to get into that.
I threw that out there. I should, just to clarify, Jody Hill, the director, is from the same hometown I'm from.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was clear or not. It was.
I was clear.
Should have said that. When you said you took karate, did you have like a weird instructor or anything?
No, it was like it was a pretty peaceful place, man. I wasn't good at it, Like I got to be a yellow belt with 2 stripes or something like that. I was really bad. I was very bad at it. I was not coordinated, nor
2
did I
more
have a
stripes
killer
than I got.
instinct. Well, there you go. I think you get them and take them off. Maybe I don't know. It was yellow. That was for sure.
I don't know how it works. I didn't ever take karate. I was scared.
Aw,
Yeah.
I was too, and I did.
Because this was like the 90s, so I was like, I don't want to get my spine ripped out by Raiden.
Yeah, I wanted to, but then it's annoying to have to go to any fucking class as a kid. It's just like felt like more school.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to go do fucking something after school that I'm borderline forced to do. It'd be fun to go do karate when I want,
Yeah, well, you still can.
Yeah, that's true. I could.
I do it exactly as much as I want.
There's a place across the street that does judo 3 times a week. Sometimes I walk by and I can see in the windows, and I can see if I ever get the just delusion that I could do karate or anything, walk by and see somebody could just get thrown on the fucking ground judo style through a window, and I'm like, fuck no. I wouldn't be fucking walking right for a month if someone took me to the ground like that.
Yeah,
they slam the fuck out of each other.
I used to see him out there doing CrossFit and like pushing the big ass tractor tires and shit. And
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they had him doing shit like that.
Which
too.
is a problem you got to solve. There's always tractor tires in the way. Anyway,
That's right.
go ahead.
Yeah.
It's a real life problem.
When you're doing judo, yeah.
So Trias opened his first dojo in Phoenix in 1946 and founded the country's first national karate association, the United States Karate Association, USKA, in 1948. And Keehan, by the time he got out of the Army, he would drive pretty frequently from Chicago to Arizona and would stay for weeks at a time, renting rooms at Fleabag motels and training during the day with Trias. And he quickly earned a second-degree black belt and was appointed USKA's Midwest representative. So now he's an instructor. Yeah, so it goes back to Chicago, and by 1962, he'd opened his own dojo, the Imperial Academy of Fighting Arts, and he put his students through rigorous boxing regimens that he picked up from Kulan, and he taught them the martial arts move that he learned from Trias. The school had 2 locations. One was in the Beverly neighborhood where he grew up, and the other was on Rush Street in the Gold Coast. And at the time, Rush Street was like Chicago's Vegas Strip. full of neon lights and bars and burlesque shows. So in the middle of like the red light district of Chicago, basically he's got a karate school too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good place to have it.
Hell
It
yeah.
is.
And at the time, his dojos were mostly made up of cops, construction workers, and tough guys from around the neighborhood. But Keehan sought to make the sport more mainstream.
Cops, raise your hand.
Yeah.
Construction workers, raise your hand.
All right.
Okay.
Now,
Tough guys, raise your hand.
yeah. All right. Now, Indian. Okay. Leather guy. All right. The song is called YMCA. I know one and a two. So Keehan sought to make the sport more mainstream, and he was a well-regarded instructor, and he was popular and energetic. His classes cost $20 a month, which was a lot at the time.
Yeah.
But now in his mid-20s, he was focused on now creating a larger-than-life persona for himself. So here we go.
Yeah, because I was about to say, unless you're doing a twist where you're saying all his lies, this is all completely legitimate so far.
I know, yeah.
He's a very legitimate person.
Oh, yeah.
As far as what he claims and what he can do.
You can see
Right.
it coming though because of the imperial.
Yeah.
Imperial, like you're like, oh, you can. He's got that itch, right?
Yeah,
he wants to
yeah.
be bigger.
Well, it's kind of what I was talking about. Like, this is him, like, click, 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 going up to the top of the roller coaster, and we're about to go down. And to your point, and kind of what I was saying, you're like, yeah, all these guys are like legit badasses, but then at a certain point, it's like, oh, I got to make money, or alternately, they start making money, and they're like, I got to make a shitload more money.
It seems to never be enough, does there?
No, and it's like, because this guy, he probably could have kept running this dojo. He does have supplemental income that I'll mention in just a moment coming in from, he was also a hairdresser during
What?
this time. Yeah, so.
Wow, he could have just shattered people's expectations by beating someone up and then going, if anybody needs a perm.
Yeah. Oh, he
I beat him up because his haircut was awful.
Yeah.
oh, he gives himself an incredible perm, as we'll see in just a moment.
Hell yeah.
This is the point where he's like making himself into a personality. He drove fancy cars, he wore expensive clothes, and he walked up and down Rush Street with his highly unusual pet, a lion cub named Aurelia, on a leash.
Oh, tones of Sam Patch.
Yes, exactly. Who is also a guy who, as he got more and more famous, became more and more self-destructive.
He had a pet bear.
Yeah, he had a bear and a fox.
That's
Yeah.
a sign.
Yeah.
Right? When you adopt an exotic animal and you show up in public with it, you got this.
Yeah.
This is not going to stop here.
Oh yeah,
No.
yeah. We mentioned it on I think on the Sam Patch episode when where was it, Oxford, where Lord Byron went, and they said he couldn't bring his dog, so he brought bears.
Yes.
Yeah, that kind of shit. Where you're just like, all right, you got too much money and you're too fucking crazy, or you're too, just knee jerk reactionary against authority. But yeah, so he had a lion cub. His friend Tommy Gregory remembers the lion cub particularly vividly. Quote, "That fucking thing would absolutely tear the shit out of you. It was as wild as can be." So he's got a lion cub. He's got a cape. And it was around this time that Keehan began building his incredible mountain of bullshit. He started telling people that he had ties to the Chicago mob, that he was a consecrated voodoo priest, and that he had been a guerrilla fighter in the mountains during the Cuban Revolution. And he also claimed that he had participated several times in a secret death match in Southeast Asia called the Kumite.
Oh.
Where it fucking comes from. And the craziest
Yes.
shit, the guy who has control of the website of the organization that he started in the 70s is Frank Dukes. And he's got a biography on this guy that just contains the lies. It doesn't have any of the actual investigative reporting. So it's completely useless as a source, but it is really funny to read.
Oh my
Because
God.
Frank Dukes writes about this guy, or at least someone working for Frank Dukes writes about this guy pretty reverently, and it is
Amazing.
hilarious. So
Amazing.
that's where the bullshit thing about Bloodsport comes from, is he ripped it off from this fucking guy. Keehan said that he brutally killed other combatants in front of roaring crowds. So
Damn.
it is Bloodsport, but this is happening in the mid-60s when he's saying all this stuff.
Okay.
Keehan's importance in the U.S. martial arts world was rising fast, and in 1963, he and Trias had organized a USKA tournament in Chicago, and they planned another even bigger tournament the following year. For Trias, the Chicago tournaments were part of an effort to expand the reach of USKA and karate in general. For Keehan, they gave him an opportunity to solidify his own reputation as a promoter, showman, and karate master. The picture on the program of one tournament was Keehan smashing through 8 bricks with his elbow.
Wow.
It's so funny because you're like, this is just what a lot of martial arts is now. It's either UFC and it's very real, or it's this, where it's like, I can smash through 145 bricks.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I've got 145 bricks at home.
And I need them.
And I'm looking for people. I need them smashed. I don't have time.
There's only 3 kids in my neighborhood. I need everybody on
Really?
There. Yeah. So in a CBS interview from just before the 1964 tournament, the reporter stands in front of the karate school's logo, a giant black dragon, and he asks a confident-looking Keehan whether someone can be seriously injured doing karate. Keehan responds, quote, "You could very easily kill someone if you know how to hit him and where to hit him. This is the whole thing that puts the trained over the untrained." Keehan's friend, Algene Carulia, remembered John's instructions this way. Those 18 and 19-year-old kids, they'd listen to John talk about how he could stick his finger into their rib cage and tear their mouth out, rip away their throat. God, I mean, that scares anybody. So he is Danny McBride. He is Foot Fist Way, just sitting around with a bunch of children in the mid-60s being like, I can rip your eyeballs out and shove them up your butt.
The stuff you could get away with before the internet. You know what I'm saying? You could just say anything.
Yeah. And it's like, you have to wonder, the fact that his students are on the younger side, 18, 19, probably helps. But man, people were dumb as shit. So many of the history stories that we cover on this show is just people just being incredulous at hucksters.
Yeah.
And you're like, God, this always worked.
It's awesome.
It's always fucking worked. So by the time of the second tournament, relations between Keehan and Trias were tense. Keehan was one of the first white senseis in the country to accept non-white students. Keehan's best fighter at the time was Raymond Cooper, who was black, and Keehan had given black belts to a number of black fighters, something he saw as the biggest issue between him and Trias. So the white guy that started karate in the U.S., according to this guy anyway, was kind of pissed that he kept giving black people black belts. Because it was it was much like everything in America in the mid-1960s, racist, shocking. In 1969, Keehan told Black Belt magazine, quote, "The USKA didn't have any black people in the organization except for the ones who trained with me. And Trias didn't like that one bit. And that's the truth. Of course, now he has no qualms about it, but at the time, that's the way it was." And Trias, meanwhile, clapped back in a 1975 article dismissing this charge as nonsense. And James Jones, who was a black man who trained under both men, believes that there was probably a de facto ban on minorities in the early days of the USKA, but that the battle between Trias and Keehan likely had as much to do with tactics and control as it did with race. It wasn't just who they put on the mat that Keehan and Trias disagreed about. It was how they trained them to fight. So there's a bit of a differing story there. So Trias was I think he said that 40% of his members were non-white or something like that. And then meanwhile, this guy's saying he's a racist. So based on what we're about to find out about Keehan, it's it could really go either way. Okay. It's a great defense. It makes you really get on his side if you're, a progressive person. But also it's this was kind of just about how he was an asshole.
Yeah.
So could go either way. This is Floyd Webb, a documentarian, and one of Keehan's students remembered this, quote, "We're watching things like people's teeth getting knocked out during his tournaments, and he saw many of Keehan's students up close for the first time. Quote, for a no-contact tournament, there was a lot of contact." So this guy keeps basically pushing all of his fighters to actually, because in traditional karate tournaments, it's you pull your punches.
Right.
It's about form more so than actually hurting somebody. And in this case, he's like, no, fucking hit him. Hit him harder.
Do it, man. Hit him like those bricks.
Yeah, exactly. Why are we hitting bricks if we're not hitting faces too? What's the point? So whatever the reason, Trias expelled Keehan from the USKA after the second Chicago tournament in December of 1964. So now he's loose. He's out on his own. And frustrated by the sport's no contact rule, Keehan started his own organization, a competitor to the USKA called the World Karate Federation that allowed for contact between fighters.
Oh, allowed for it.
Yeah.
Sounds like he was allowing for it before.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the old one was it was a theoretical no contact. This one's no. We're just going to hit each other.
The XFL of karate organizations.
Straight up. Yeah, absolutely. Keehan's organization, by the way, is unrelated to the World Karate Federation that exists today. So he just named it after a thing that already existed, I think. But at his own martial arts school, he forced his most advanced students to go through a rite of passage before gaining higher degree belts. Art Rapkin, one of Keehan's former students, said that trainees hoping to advance to brown or black belts were put in a dimly lit room and forced to fight 4 other students from their dojo, one after another at full force.
Nice.
So he's having kid fights.
Yeah, but also love that he's like, you're going to be in a dark room and have to fight 4 people. But also the 4 people are in a dark room too. So
right. Yeah. By the way, those people were given sticks and knives and let loose.
Knives?
Knives. By the end of this initiation ritual, some people were left bruised and bloody. Keehan was known to intentionally instigate bar fights with his students.
Hell yeah.
So
what a great dojo master. Be like, put your shoes on, let's go to the bar.
Let's go to the fucking bar.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah. So Art Rapkin said that Keehan would find the biggest guy at the bar, knock a beer bottle out of his hand, and blame his trainee for it. Art says, John would look at me and go, hey, why the fuck did you actually do that in front of this guy? And if he was with 4 guys, you'd have to fight them too.
Amazing.
So you just pick fights at bars in Chicago.
So he's like, we're training in real life circumstances.
Yes, 100%.
Circumstances which you're hanging out with some asshole who starts to fight and blames you.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is like I was thinking about this today, and I'll have to go back and listen to confirm, because episode 200 of this podcast, we did an entire episode about Mr. T. And Mr. T was a bouncer at Chicago bars. He became famous because he was the scariest bouncer in Chicago, and they used to have bouncing competitions, and he won a bunch of them, and they were like, oh, this guy's kind of cool, we should put him on TV. And that's how so I was wondering, I was like, did Mr. T ever have to lay down the law on this guy?
Well, if he did, I don't think he would have made it. Sounds like this guy's training real killers, man.
And he's a voodoo priest, so he could put a hex on him. You know?
Or did he give him that haircut?
Oh, maybe so.
Well, I honestly want to know more about the voodoo priest storyline here.
Yeah, Mr. T, the reason he always wore all the jewelry, at least according to him, was that was the jewelry that would come loose during fights at the bars that he worked at, and he would just put it around his neck, and he would say, if you come apologize to me, I'll give you your shit back.
Really?
But people were so scared they wouldn't come
That's
back to him.
amazing. I didn't know that.
Again, but it's
His claim.
His claim, exactly. Because again, Mr. T legitimately won a bunch of like bar bouncing contests, which the 70s were fucking awesome. The fact that that was a contest with rules.
When you were talking about that, I assumed that maybe it was like some way of like wearing chainmail without showing that you're wearing chainmail. Like you can't stab through it and it hangs over your heart area. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, probably helps with that for sure.
That's a good idea.
Unfortunately, it gives something, if you're fighting someone, something to grab and like pull you down with. So it's probably not super advantageous for a fight. But the fact that he wore so much of it kind of, implies like, it's not going to come down to that. I'm going to knock you out immediately. Yeah. I just wondered. I was like, man, did Mr. T and this guy ever cross paths? Because it seems like they were in the same area doing the same type of shit, just being violent at bars, except one of them was being paid for it and one of them was using it as instruction.
Yeah.
Hey, he was getting paid for it, technically. If that's instruction, they're paying for it.
That's true.
Goes, look,
everyone's making money off these bar fights.
I got to pay hourly for this building, so we're going to wrap it up, put our shoes on. We're going to go over, go over to Kurt's bar over here, and you're going to fight somebody.
So by the mid-60s, Keehan had amassed a following of elite martial artists that he called the Black Dragons. And the Black Dragons proved their mettle against other martial arts schools around the city in off-the-book battles. And this is a thing that happened in ancient Japan and ancient China. That's what they call like dojo storming, where one... Do you know about this kind of
a dojo challenge.
Yeah.
Some guy, usually a crazy person. Sometimes this is what I was talking... Sometimes what I was talking about earlier, how some legitimate guy will show up to a fraud's gym and challenge him in front of his students and be like, you're claiming to have a black belt from this lineage that I'm from.
Yes.
No one's ever heard of you.
Yeah.
Let's do this. But then usually it's like if you're a guy who wants to just show up at a place and fight, a real trainer or martial artist is just going to be like, no. We don't do that here. I mean, some will, but most sane ones are just going to be like, what?
Yeah.
It takes that
we're a place of business.
That magic moment where like the roving madman finds the stationary madman and it all goes down.
Yeah. I mean, that's Seven Samurai, man. That's the roving Ronin.
There's videos of guys online who walk into professional gyms and are just like, I think my street fighting ability could match your boxing ability. And then they get in the ring and they get the shit beat out of them.
They get beaten horrifically.
Yeah.
Also, in Keehan's case, his own penchant for violence, when the Black Dragons got involved, the brawls were often very bloody. So he's having like off the books, sparring matches with these other gyms who I think probably go into it being like, oh yeah, he's like a well-respected instructor. And then people are just really fucking going for it. So on July 22nd, 1965, Keehan and Doug Dwyer, a longtime friend and fellow instructor, were arrested after a drunken attempt to place dynamite caps on the window of a rival Chicago martial arts school run by a man named Gene Wyka.
Dynamite caps.
Yeah.
They couldn't even get a full stick of fucking dynamite.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to break the window to freak him out.
Yeah, you'd think they could do that with their heads or their elbows or something like
stick.
that.
Yeah. They were apprehended after they got cornered in an alley, and they just started throwing dynamite caps out the window. And the cops were like, "You're just get out of the car." Like they got trapped. Dwyer was charged with 4 traffic violations. Keehan was charged with attempted arson, possession of explosives, and resisting arrest. He got 2 years probation. Keehan later explained this action as the result of a disagreement with Wyka over payment for a tournament that Keehan had arranged there. So that's his excuse.
That's why I was trying to blow your building up.
You owed me fucking money.
You owe me
dude.
$242.
Well, then proceed to blow up my building then. Sorry.
That's why I'm on probation for 2 years, is the money you didn't give me for a local martial arts tournament, which I'm sure was a mint. So,
Or just a lie.
yeah. In 1964, Keehan married a woman named Pat Harpold, and his home life was increasingly chaotic. He was prone to angry outbursts. This is Harpold's quote. He lived in a fantasy world of things he wasn't. Like, oh boy. Well, and the wife definitely knows. Keehan had to rehome their pet lion after it got too big and too fierce to take care of. I like that he got married, and she was like, no. No. What the fuck?
Now you tell me.
Harpold says their marriage dissolved, and by 1966, they were divorced. After the divorce, Keehan continued to add to his already mythic persona. In 1967, he decided he was no longer an Irish kid from the south side of Chicago. He legally changed his name to Count Juan Rafael Dante.
Yes.
And he began claiming to have descended from Spanish royalty. His family chased off the throne and into American exile by the Spanish Civil War.
Oh, that's incredible.
That's his story.
Top of the morning to you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a count.
It's literally both of his parents are Irish as fuck from Chicago.
Buenos dias.
Yeah, and he's just like, no, I am Count Dante.
Soy de España.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. So he started wearing a velvet cape and carrying a gold cane with a lion's head on its handle. Now, we've talked about this, I think, on this show in comedy. When someone gets a cane, bad sign.
It is.
That's a bad sign. A cane that they don't need.
I mean, that is trying to pretend to be something you're not.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the reality is that early on in his Count Dante transformation, Keehan was supplementing his income, as I mentioned, by working as a hairdresser. But even though he was just a hairdresser, he still claimed to have knocked on the door of Muhammad Ali and challenged him to a fight, and the champ begged off. So
begged off.
That was one of the things he claimed. Was
Fight me!
Yeah, he's like, no, please, no. I won't, no. Like Muhammad Ali, again, late 60s Muhammad Ali, sure.
Incredible.
Oh, yeah, guy. Another thing, these guys who professionally get paid to fight aren't going to be like, yeah, I'll just fight some random guy who demands I fight him. Sure.
Right. It's like a major league player. Like, yeah, I'll do sandlot baseball with a bunch of 8-year-olds. Like, no.
Because they talk shit to me.
Roll your ankle like your $1 million ankle.
Yeah, you found my house, knocked on my door, and challenged me to a fight. Let's keep this relationship rolling. What do you want to do?
So Count Dante promoted his style as, quote, street effective, and developed a system that became known as the Dante system, the dance of death, or sometimes as it's known, Kata Dante.
Okay.
Oh, you want to learn to do the Kata Dante, do you? Well, come on over here. I'll teach you what my abuela taught me.
Yeah. Theoretically, by learning all of the steps of Keehan's dance of death, you would thereby become an effective fighting master. And he took out ads in comic books proclaiming to be the deadliest man alive. So this is where he gets famous, is because this is like such a savvy business move, because we're talking the mid-60s, so DC is already very popular. Marvel is like coming up. Spider-Man, The Incredible Hulk, all of these, what we think of as classic titles all that shit is getting going at this mid 60s, and advertising is cheap in comic books. So he takes out
Is that still the case?
This ad.
Should we advertise in comic books?
Oh, in the back of comic books? That's where you'd see like the X-ray specs.
I know,
and
but
shit
I'm
like
talking
that.
about right now,
yeah.
today's day and age.
That's a good question. I wish we had Carter here because I don't read any comic books. But hey, our listeners, join the Discord. Tell us what's going on in the backs of comic books.
Do they still have ads in them?
Also, let me save you some time. Graphic novels, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I know the graphic novels don't, but the individual weeklies or bi-weeklies, I think, probably do. But I wonder if it's like crypto scams now.
It's got to be. That's what every ad is these days.
It's like NFTs.
Or some AI company.
Yeah, it's like own the second panel of this comic as an NFT. Oh, God, I bet it's such a dirty fucking business now. Gee, I mean, not that it wasn't before, but at least you'd get a product, in this case, a pamphlet called Deadliest Man Alive's Deadliest Secrets of Fighting. So we'll put this up right there so the people watching can see it. Man, he looks cool as shit. He looks
does.
like the devil.
It looks like the cover of like a martial arts movie.
Yeah.
And a cool looking one.
Oh, hell yeah. But yeah,
The
so...
way he's holding his fingers just tells you he must know something.
Well, that's how you stick your fingers through a rib cage and
Yes.
rip out
Yes.
the heart.
Oh, yeah. I've got some copy from one of his ads, and Ben Sawyer reads news articles for The Atlantic, folks, so we've got a golden voice here, and I think it's only right that Dr. Ben reads one of Count Dante's ads for us.
Yes, this is the deadliest and most terrifying fighting art known to man, and without equal. Its maiming, mutilating, disfiguring, paralyzing, and crippling techniques are known by only a few people in the world. An expert at dim mak could easily kill many judo, karate, kung fu, aikido, and gung fu experts at one time with only fingertip pressure using his murderous poison hand weapons. Instructing you step by step through each move in this manual is none other than Count Dante, the deadliest man who ever lived. Parentheses, the crown prince of death.
Imagine being a child reading Spider-Man, and then you flip to the back and you read that, and you're like, oh my God.
They're going to teach you to attack with poison.
I could be Dr. Doom.
Were these all caps lines in the text?
Yes, I just pulled that straight off of the actual ad. That's how
This
it's written.
is incredible.
Yeah.
The choice of what to capitalize, right? I mean, it's just so you guys who can't see the script here, lowercase, with only fingertip pressure using his murderous, all caps, poison hand weapons.
Yeah.
Murderous, lowercase.
Yeah.
Also, that second paragraph that just starts with a list of capital words: maiming, mutilating, disfiguring, paralyzing, and crippling. Those are the words they want to stand out to you.
Well, also,
Yeah.
it's comic book language, right? Like when you read like old 60s comic books, they would
which I
always
do all the time.
they would always include stuff like that. You know, these big purple prose kind of descriptive words. You know,
It's you know what it is? It's like a Trump tweet.
Kind
Oh,
of.
I mean, it's
man.
just like the decision of what to capitalize, right?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like an expert at dim mak
Yeah.
could easily kill many judo, karate, kung
Yeah.
fu, aikido, and gung fu. Gung fu?
yeah. It's two different forms.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
that's probably what happened to him. There's no more gung fu because dim mak killed them. I'm sorry, dim mak
Yeah.
killed all the gung fu
So
at one time.
The dim mak, by the way, if anyone's seen Kill Bill, the 5-finger palm exploding heart technique is based on this concept that you could kill someone with one touch in one specific spot. That's called the dim mak.
Fingertip pressure.
Yeah. So like what
Poison
Uma,
hand weapons.
what Uma Thurman does to Bill, where she's like pop, 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 like hits his heart a bunch of times and then pushes him and he's like Gah! And then takes 5 steps and falls over dead.
Plan A taught you the 5-point palm exploding heart technique.
Of course he did.
Why didn't you tell me?
That's what this guy's claiming to be able to do to teach you.
So is there a link to buy this? You guys selling this on your website?
You can find
get it
them
in
on
the merch?
eBay. You can find the pamphlets. So the mail order marketing for his pamphlets, again, the pamphlet called World's Deadliest Fighting Secrets, reportedly made millions for Count Dante. The pamphlet's first 2 inside pages were a sustained brag about the martial arts that he had mastered and his strikingly handsome good looks and his devotion to classical singing.
That's great.
They were followed by photos of Count Dante in a black gi demonstrating techniques like groin slap or the grab and tear off method called monkey stealing a peach. So, ripping off someone's balls or ripping someone's heart out of their chest.
Opera singing, like singing,
Classical singing, yeah, that's
Classical
right.
singing.
Yeah. So he's apparently a master of opera.
A black gee's the ultimate badass too.
I mean, look at him, for
Now,
Christ's
kids,
sakes.
I'm going to sing to you a song. Be a poeta, sing to me. Let me sing it to you. Guantanamera. Guantanamera. It's an old song from back in Spain.
By the way, the demonstration that he was doing in the back of the comics is on his second banana, Doug Dwyer. So there's pictures of him like trying to grab his balls and stuff like that in this magazine, apparently.
You got to show how it's done. You got to show how it's done, man.
You gotta
Pay
teach
for
him.
the pamphlet. You want to see that.
Hell yeah.
Just pictures of him trying to grab some dude's junk.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So in the summer of 1967, he promoted an audacious exhibit in which, as part of a tournament, a bull would be killed with a single blow. So now he's going to demonstrate the dim mock on a bull. Count Dante purchased a bull from the stockyards of Chicago and drove it around town on the back of a flatbed truck festooned with signs announcing the event.
He's going to die soon. This bull's going to die. You want to see this bull die? Come with me, Dim Mac.
I'm going to punch it in the heart.
This bull's name is Dim Mac.
After the seats were filled, though, Count Dante announced that the bull killing portion of the event had been shut down by the Chicago SPCA.
Boo.
It was also at this event that he debuted his new look. He dyed his hair jet black and had a neatly trimmed beard, reflecting his new side gig in cosmetology. He also darkened his skin with makeup. So there's an actual picture of him. We'll put this up here. Look at the fucking... He's got the Jeff Hardy beard shaved. Into
Wisps. The wisps coming
They're
aside.
like a tribal tattoo, except a beard.
Back in the day, I feel like
are.
in like, what is this, the 70s at this point?
Late 60s, early 70s.
This is what like a white guy's idea of what a European would have on as far as facial hair.
Yeah.
And I say that sincerely.
Oh yeah, I love it, and also the fact that he's like, all right, get the bronzer, more bronzer, like again, a white man from Chicago.
When you're a count, you got to be bronze.
White man Chicago or traditional Spanish
Yeah.
from Sevilla.
So also in 67, he opened up a salon, the House of Dante in Westtown. Keehan recommended hairdressing to other martial artists as a profession. The flexible hours would let them pursue martial arts training, and it wasn't a bad way to meet girls either.
Damn, maybe I just thought about my comedy schedule.
Yeah.
Maybe I could be a appointment-only hairdresser.
Yeah, but what does it say to you when he's like, follow me to Dim Mac? You're going to need to supplement your income, though.
I mean, no,
learn how to cut some hair.
I don't think anyone is ever like, I'm going to get this purple belt and then be rich.
Yeah. My suspicion is that he probably just employed other karate guys, right? Like it seems like a perfect also like side hustle where you can,
Be like, you can rent a chair at my salon
you can make money off the same people twice.
Please tell me he cut people's hair with only his own hands.
with the poison hand technique.
Yeah,
He would just punch their hair.
Just punching them in
Great.
certain spots.
That is
Amazing.
tough because when you're getting a haircut, you really are having to trust that they're not going to just punch you in the back of the head.
But his
Yeah.
hands are weapons.
Yeah, exactly.
It
So
would,
you're really on edge. That whole haircut.
it would be like somebody giving you a haircut with scissors that are attached to a rifle. I mean, if we were to believe the story.
Which I sort of do.
So Count Dante started dating a 22-year-old waitress at the Playboy Club named Christy Carter. He turned her into a character too. She was deemed the Dragon Lady. And Keehan and her became kind of a duo. They appeared together on tabloid covers and local television shows, performing acts that were a combination of martial arts and magic tricks.
Oh, God. What moment this guy
This
get
sounds
into?
fun.
He worked his way into magic?
I don't know if she's doing magic or if they just kind of taught themselves a couple of acts, but again, more like intersection with just cool Chicago shit at this time. This is like the time when Bozo the Clown is kind of coming up on Chicago local access and stuff like that too. So the amount of like weird, disparate worlds that could have intersected in Chicago at this exact moment is awesome to me.
It is incredible.
Yeah, and Richard J. Daley, shot up the DNC, so that happened too.
Wow,
It's
there
a
you
crazy
go.
time. Crazy time to be in
Should've
Chicago.
just sent Count Dante in there with his poison hand weapons.
He was, he's in Chicago during all that, and you're just like, come on, man, get in there and kick ass for Hubert Humphrey, bro.
Yeah, nobody's ever said that line before.
That's why people listen to the Goods from the Woods.
That is.
That's
To hear
right.
lines like,
Hey.
get in there and kick ass for Hubert Humphrey.
Shout out to Minnesota. I got my Jay's Bar t-shirt on right now. Juicy
that was-
Lucy. What's up?
Non sequitur. Okay. Oh, yeah. You Humphrey. Okay,
Humphrey.
sorry.
Yeah,
I got
come
you.
on.
Okay, sorry.
I seen his statue. I seen his grave.
Did you confirm he's dead? Because I've heard.
I did.
Some people say.
You better dig that shit up
Some
and
people say
really
he's
check.
still alive.
He's in the same cemetery as the old boy from The Replacements. Oh God, who else? There's somebody else famous in that cemetery. Shout out to
Prince.
Shout out to Paulo. No, Prince is in a different one.
They got 2 cemeteries in Minnesota now.
Oh yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
That's good.
absolutely.
We're getting big.
Oh,
Twin
well,
Cities.
More people are dying.
than ever.
No, I will say my favorite combo ever is in Buffalo, same cemetery. Millard Fillmore and Rick James.
Oh.
I mean, come on. What are we talking about? Compromise of 1850 and Super Freak and all
Super
that good
Freak.
shit. Yeah.
That's right.
I'm in love with Mary Jane, baby. Yeah, this is Christie's quote about Count Dante. He likes being scary, but he also likes being beautiful. He slept on a silk pillowcase so he wouldn't get wrinkles. And I was like, I don't think he knows how wrinkles work.
Yeah, this guy.
So ticket sales at a full contact mixed martial arts tournament in 1968 were lower than Count Dante expected. Like when they described this, you're like, this is literally UFC. It's just, in the 60s. But apparently...
There's been lots of debate about when MMA actually started.
right. It's kind of like rock and roll. You're like, they've been doing something similar for a long time. But
Yeah.
It's hard to pin down the exact thing. But yeah, he didn't sell too many tickets for the 1968 tournament.
Lots of people who were going to come were murdered that summer.
I was going to say, yeah. People got done watching a lot of violence on the street in 1968. They're like, yeah, I don't actually want to watch it anymore.
UFC or DNC? Which one
Yeah.
caused more carnage?
So the venue had no AC, so that's also an issue. And a man trying to chop through a 500-pound block of ice was thwarted by the block's slippery, melting surface.
Yeah, the man trying to break through the ice was
It's
thwarted by the ice.
It's
That's
slippery.
exactly-
Yeah.
It's got too slippery.
I love the way the guy's like, look, I can't get through this ice because it's ice.
So by the time the proto UFC tournament was over, Count Dante owed a lot of people a lot of money that he didn't have.
And to this day, that is a classic fight promotion thing.
Yes.
That is a absolute classic story of a small time fight promoter.
So, according to former student Art Rapkin, Count Dante was desperate to get off the hook for the money owed, so he got creative. And this is what Dante allegedly said to Rapkin. What you're going to do is you're going to take the money and you're going to go to the bank, but you're not going to make it to the bank. You're going to get robbed, and then you're going to report to the police that you got robbed by a couple of guys with a shotgun. And Rapkin said Dante told him to do that, and then he did it.
Wow.
It's a plausible deniability for why he didn't have the money. It's like, oh, I was on the way to deposit it, and they beat up my guy.
You think he would just let the guy go with the money and then as he's walking by, slap the beer out of some dude's hand?
Yeah, there we go.
It was him.
So while
His wife probably made him stop doing that at this point. You can't slap beer out of people's hands.
Okay, Dragon Lady.
You've changed your life.
So by the way, I read something about Art Rapkin where he
And he's in bars seeing big dudes with beers just being like, "Duh, I don't want to be that guy anymore.
No.
Don't turn me back into who I used to be."
I was reading some stuff about Art Rapkin. At this time, he was fighting in martial arts tournaments while dressed up as Bob Dylan.
Well,
Damn.
there you go.
And so they're adding like theatricality to the full contact thing. So he's coming in, I assume, with big perm and the Wayfarers and shit, and beating
Like a
people up.
Rolling
Like-
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's right,
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Well, when MMA first started to be more organized, they were basically allowed to wear whatever they wanted.
Oh, there'd be like
you could walk in
sumo
and-
guys with the.
you could walk in street clothes
Didn't
and
Tank
fight.
Abbott like fighting blue jeans?
Yeah, and like a fucking tank top.
Yeah.
A guy went in with one boxing glove, a boxer. One full-size boxing glove on his right hand.
Dude, that guy was at this party across the
Yeah.
street the other night. He's still at it.
So the larger karate community was not cool with full contact martial arts, and Count Dante had quite a few enemies that accused him of turning a beautiful sport into rank brutality. Dojos around the country refused to send their students to compete against Count Dante's school. Black Belt Magazine refused to cover tournaments in Chicago
Dude,
because
and
of
if
this.
You're not in Black Belt Magazine.
You're fucked.
You're nobody.
Back in the day, maybe that was
No.
true.
Yes.
I mean, I'm trying to think of like an obscure sport where it's like there's only one thing, and if you're not in it, then you're nothing.
Boxing had that with like Ring magazine or whatever.
But even like boxing, I feel like would get picked up by like ESPN magazine or something like that. It's one of those things where karate at this point is so, because we're also talking about, speaking of like intersection of just, kind of time and place, this is also when Elvis starts doing karate, so this is getting more and more popular. Like karate is going to blow up in the 70s with Bruce Lee and with all of that stuff. But like late 60s is when Elvis hops on board. And
is there any footage of him doing that?
Of Elvis?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I got to see this shit.
By the way, how much
man.
cooler would it have been if Count Dante killed Elvis than if he just died shitting?
We did a whole episode called Elvis in the 70s, and one of my favorite Elvis things ever happened right before he died, where this guy sees a fight break out at a gas station, and he gets out of the car to like break it up, and then suddenly a white limousine, this is in Wisconsin in the middle of the night, a white limousine pulls up in front of him. Elvis gets out. They end up stopping the fight because Elvis Presley has just appeared to them like an angel from heaven, and Elvis is like, "Is everybody cool?" They were like, yeah, Elvis."
That is some real life Superman shit.
Yes, straight up. And I remember the quote. I'll never forget it, because they stop fighting and he signs autographs for them, and he goes, "I come to you as enemies and I leave you as friends." And then he got in the car, and then he was dead 2 months later.
Damn, he was on that good pills when he did this.
Dude, he was flying in outer space.
And then he died, but they started fighting again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah.
They were like, why am I mad at that guy again?
They might have cried, and they'd be like, "That guy saved my life."
Like, no, he saved my life.
So yeah, he's making enemies all over the town for turning the sport into rank brutality. Dojos around the country refused to send their students to compete against Count Dante's school. The Count retaliated for this in the press by calling out traditional dojos, infamously saying, "Karate's for sissies."
Whoa.
Damn.
Man, he threw down the fucking gauntlet. So we kind of mentioned the idea of dojo storming, and the most notorious dojo storming incident in American history happened April 24th, 1970. The infamous, unprecedented confrontation that unfolded at the Black Cobra Hall between Count Dante's crew and another school called the Green Dragons. Black Dragons versus Green Dragons, y'all. The night in question is still debated. It may have been a feud over students or an attempted extortion. What is known is that Count Dante rounded up a group of his toughest devotees and
Guys, circle up.
yeah,
We've been dojo stormed.
in a bizarre gesture of fair play, he called up the Green Dragons to let them know they were coming to the Black Cobra Hall where they trained. So it's like, don't tell them you're fucking coming. Just
Maybe they weren't going to be there.
I mean,
Yeah.
Like, I'm
That's
feeling
true.
this right now.
good point.
Gotta go.
Let's schedule it.
Yeah.
So
15 minutes? Is that good?
So the space was located at a nondescript one-floor storefront, but inside it resembled some kind of medieval lair. On the walls were various weapons, a pair of guandaos, a Chinese pole with a long shaft and curving flat blades, a spear, nunchucks, a mace, and an axe.
So this is like a classic like movie karate dojo.
Straight up. And these guys specifically train with weapons. So I don't know if he knows that, but it was a thing like this guy did hand-to-hand. These guys do hand-to-hand, and they also train with weapons and shit like that too. So on John's side was Jim Konchevic, his talented 26-year-old protege, now running a dojo of his own. And this guy, by the way, Konchevic, he was the AC Cowlings to Count Dante's OJ.
Okay.
He styled his hair the same. He had the same beard. So just imagine, so this guy's whatever in his like 30s or 40s, and then he's got a mini-me version of him. That's Konchevic. Also, they had 3 of Konchevic's students with him. At the door, John presented an Indiana sheriff's badge for reasons that remain unclear, and then suddenly the group burst into the dojo. There, they faced a couple of dozen Green Dragon students and allies.
So he just stops and he goes, "Here's a badge from Indiana."
Yeah.
Okay, you see got that? All right, now we're going to come in.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what, because that's like famously what they did at the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, but they were dressed as cops, so it worked. In this case, like, I don't think they were dressed as cops. I have no idea why they did that.
It's not even the state they're in, right?
No, they're in Chicago. Yeah. They're like Indiana adjacent, I guess, but they're out of their jurisdiction.
Because I found a dead cop from Gary floating down the river.
Yeah. So the door slammed opened, closing the combatants inside. One fighter with a blade lunged while most of the students bolted for the back exit. Those who remained went into their stances, grabbed weapons off the wall, and charged. John landed a debilitating blow, partially blinding one young instructor. So later he was like, I ripped his fucking eye out.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
With a knife.
Yeah. Jim Konjovic, meanwhile, was stabbed and slashed with a sword. Badly wounded, Konjovic yelled out, "Everybody get the fuck out of here!"
It's not funny anymore.
Konjovic kicked the door open to escape, but then things got really bad when a Green Dragon member hurled a spear which went directly through his neck. Konjovic immediately fell down and bled out and died on the sidewalk.
A spear.
A fucking spear.
Going nowhere.
I love a guy who's already been slashed up by a sword. He's like, we gotta retreat. And then a spear goes through his fucking neck like it's a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Oh my God.
The papers later labeled the tragedy the Dojo War. Count Dante was charged with aggravated battery and manslaughter for Konjovic under Chicago's accountability statute. A member of the Green Dragon Society was also charged with manslaughter in the killing of Konjovic. The judge, though, could not fathom the details of a brawl with medieval weaponry, and fighters from both sides could not control their machismo in court. So he said, and this is the judge's quote, "You're each as guilty as the other." And his sentencing was he just let everybody go.
Maybe he did have ties with the mob. This is some crazy shit.
He goes, really? You're guilty. We're all guilty. Now get out of here.
Yeah,
Think about
yeah.
what you did.
Yeah, I mean, a guy got speared through the neck, and the judge was like, "You guys can go."
No,
I feel like this isn't the first story we've covered where somebody got speared through the neck in some sort of group fight.
I'll have to go back in the archives.
It's not that a guy got speared through the neck. That guy obviously was unpunishable at that point.
Yeah.
It's that a guy who hurled a spear through that guy's neck stood in a courtroom, and a judge goes, who here has not committed a sin? Anyway, let's get this guy with his arm back on the streets.
What happens in the dojo stays in the dojo, boys.
Well, I also think to some extent the judge was like, "You guys are all such fucking losers. Get out of here!" Like,
no concern for the public safety at all.
No. Meanwhile,
this is too much. Am I right?
Yeah.
Am I right? This is too much.
Meanwhile, John Wayne Gacy is just wasting children across town. So, even as charges against him were all dropped, Count Dante's career and reputation were ruined. His fantasy life as the world's deadliest man is what caused the death of a beloved friend. And over the years that followed, Keehan ran a used car dealership, a porn store, and eventually became a hot dog concession person at Comiskey Park. So he's working the aisles at the White Sox game. He hovered at the edge of organized crime. In 1974, he was actually questioned in connection with the Perlator Vault heist, the largest cash robbery in U.S. history at the time.
In which a man was speared through the back of the neck.
Was this you, Count Dante? Dante, was this you?
Was his name still Count Dante legally at this point?
Oh, yeah, he changed it
There's
legally.
no going back, Sam.
I guess.
yeah.
There's no going back.
Even when you're a hot dog guy, Count Dante.
Yeah. Count the fucking change, Dante. Clock out. He sank into alcoholism and pills, and in an interview dug up by the Chicago Reader's Dan Kelly, Dante told a reporter in 1975, "I just want people to forget me." Count Dante died in his sleep as a result of internal hemorrhaging caused by a bleeding stomach ulcer on May 25th, 1975, and was buried in an unmarked grave in St. Joseph Cemetery in River Grove, Illinois.
Unmarked?
Unmarked. It's apparently totally grown over. It's like a big patch of grass now. So
Two things.
That's Count Dante.
First of all, this guy goes, "I'm the most deadliest man in the world." And then, because of him, a guy dies by spear.
Yeah.
Somehow that ruins his reputation.
After going to Asia and killing people at the Kumite.
I mean, he goes, "I'm the most deadliest man in the world," and then someone dies. He's like, that should increase his reputation. You know what I'm saying? Not ruin his reputation.
I mean,
like, you mean this most deadliest guy killed somebody? But it was
someone else who did it. It was the other dojo that did it to his dude.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is they got their asses kicked.
Oh, that was his dude that got speared.
Yeah, it was his best friend. It was his,
Okay,
it was his mini-me. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. I missed that part. I thought it was the head of the other dojo.
No, they lost definitively because they invaded a dojo that was filled with weapons, and they got their ass kicked.
Yeah, I got that part.
And then mini-me was like, "Get out of here." Everybody run.
But you know what? The whole time I was thinking, this guy has that guy all done up like him. So if there's ever an assassin,
Oh, it's
he's
like
got a double.
Oh, it's like Saddam Hussein.
Worked.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's got. Ooh, you're probably right. They probably did think they were killing Dante.
Yeah. And that's a plausible defense, too. Because you could be like, I thought it was Count Dante.
Yeah.
I was trying to paralyze him in his spine. But as you can see, this man's stature's lower. His neck is just where, like, the spine would have been that I was going for.
He moved.
And this judge goes,
I
whoa,
threw
whoa,
that-
whoa. I don't even need to hear all this. Is
Yeah.
this crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't this crazy? Y'all get out of here.
Yeah. 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 Bring in Abby Hoffman. I'm going to fucking yell it. It's probably the same fucking judge. It's probably,
What a great judge.
It's
Oh, this is too much. This
Yeah.
is
If
too
you guys,
much.
it was a mutual combat decision.
Yeah.
You guys did a dojo war. Come on. What crime has been fucking done here?
Now bring Bobby Seals in here and let's hog time again. Like,
Can you just bring me the prostitutes in here? That
God.
one's easy. Did
Yeah.
you pay? Did
Yeah.
you fuck her? Okay, well, she's going to jail for some reason. Okay, you get out of here. It's kind of my thing.
after like reading this story and researching all this stuff, I was like, I think Chicago in the late 60s would be the most simultaneously interesting and terrifying place to go in a time machine. We're like,
yeah.
God, every cool thing is here, and also I could die at any moment.
Yeah.
Like, so there's different places and different points in time that I often think about if I could go back. I'm like, I'd kind of like to see it. Kind of like to see summer of 68 into like 1970 when all this shit was going down.
You'd like to observe it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, observe it from some sort of protective bubble where.
That's what UFOs are, maybe.
Ooh, yeah. It's people just observing Richard Daley doing tyranny.
They're just here to see, like, the more UFO sightings, the more you should be like, oh, I guess we're doing something real dumb.
Yeah.
They've come back to watch.
Yeah.
They don't want to be down here, but they're watching us because we're doing the stupid thing they can't believe in the future.
So I want to shout out the sources. Joe DeCault writing for WBEZ Chicago, John Higginbottom writing for Medium, Dan Kelly writing for the Chicago Reader, and Eric Nussbaum writing for Sports Stories on his Substack.
Shout out. Hey, Atlantic.
Yeah.
Like all these other energy drink companies that aren't hearing this, reach out.
Come on.
Reach out to us.
Absolutely.
We'll do a whole story for the Atlantic.
Yeah. We'd love that.
And then I'll narrate it.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Ben, get the fuck out of here.
I don't want to get out of here. I
Fuck
like
out
it
of
here.
here.
I
I'm
like
trying
it here.
to fucking make a career off this shit.
Hell yeah. Well, that's the story of Count Dante.